Hi, Shanna. Hi, Mariam Devimirani. Hello, I'm going to interview Miss Face of Humanity Namibia 2021, Damilola Beakes. Let's wait for her. Hello, Face of Namibia. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm going to interview Miss Face of Humanity Namibia. I will have one-on-one with her, and let's try to get to know more about the candidate from Namibia. Hi, Mary Jane. Hi, Sir Vino. I'm going to interview Miss Face of Humanity Namibia. Hi, Ben Def. Where is she? Let's just wait for her. I think this should be very interesting because, our queen is coming from Africa. Hi, Louis. The Miss Face of Humanity Canada. Hello, Louis, Misako. Okay, I think she is already here. Finally.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
How are you?
I
Can
am
you hear
very
me?
good. How are you?
Okay, so before we start, okay, I would like to greet first Louis Misako, Miss Face of Humanity Canada. She's watching right now. And
Hi, Louise.
yeah, hello. Okay, so Damilola, how do you pronounce your surname? Is it Beukes?
Beukes.
Beakes.
Damilola Beakes.
Okay,
Yes.
Damilola Beakes. I love it. Okay. So, Damilola, thank you so much for, for this interview. And I hope that we will get to know more about you, who you are as
Yes.
a person, who you are as a woman, and including your platform, okay, for the Mistress of Humanity. So, are you ready?
I am ready. Yes.
Okay, so hello Namibia, and all over the world. Okay, so uh, how do you want me to call you? Damilola, Lola, what?
Demi is fine. Everyone calls me
Demi.
Demi, so Demi is fine.
Okay, so Demi, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
20 years old, so very young. Okay, prior to
Very
you being crowned as Miss Face of Humanity in Namibia, what were your activities? What were the things that you were doing?
Okay, so I was mainly advocating for mental health, mainly like mental thoughts, like excuse me, I'm not
Yeah,
completely like better yet, but
yeah, it's okay.
yes. So mainly for mental health. Also, as a student studying psychology, just caring about the welfare of people in general, like the things that contribute to our mental health, society as a whole, and parents and those the small things that later add to the bigger problem.
Okay, that's interesting. No? At a very young age of 20, you're already involved in worthy causes, no? But who actually encouraged you to join the Miss Face of Humanity? What was the procedure of choosing, the Miss Face of Humanity in Namibia? Was there any pageant that was held, or were you selected among a certain group of girls? Could you please tell us about that?
Okay, so I was recently crowned Miss Face of Namibia, and Miss Face of Namibia, eventually who got crowned, would be representing then Namibia in Canada as for Miss Face of Humanity. So that is why I was chosen, or that I am representing the country in Canada.
Okay, so could you please tell us a little bit about your family? Do you have any siblings, or are you the eldest, or the youngest, or the middle? Your parents?
Okay, so I am the only daughter of my mother. I stay with my mother and my stepfather. I have two siblings, an older brother and a younger brother. So it's the
Okay.
five of us. Yes.
Okay, amazing. By the way, for our viewers, our followers, Jenny here is not feeling well actually, but she's so professional, to continue with this interview actually. So let's wish her, well, in order for her to really, be well later on. Okay. Uh,
Okay.
Okay, so Demi, what is actually, I'm so interested about the advocacy that you are trying to push. You mentioned about mental health, right? So what
Mental
is,
health and
okay, mental health
sorry.
and okay.
Mental health and equality, actually inclusivity, just be everyone being granted equal opportunities to desired goods and things in life, because Banduk is actually having their Pride Week this week. And it's
Mhm,
about just inclusivity, like being accepted, um, being regarded as capable and as deserving and as worth it as everyone else, despite of sexuality and all that. And I feel like that is actually our biggest problem at the moment, like
mhm,
acceptance of all people despite their sexuality and basic human rights as a human. Because why are people regarded as less human or as less deserving because who they choose to love or who they choose to be? And so it's equality as well. And the saddest part is that women became equal around what 1970, some were
mhm,
there, and we're still fighting the same fight we did then. And also just like voicing for other women, because sometimes we are also placed in situations where we question our own capabilities. I remember there was this one time that I got robbed, and I
mhm,
wasn't mad. Like, I was more mad at the fact that I questioned my own strength in that moment, because I thought to myself, but this is a guy. What can I do? And overall, we always preach about that women are just as strong, women are just as capable and deserving of certain things, of opportunities in life and all that. So it's just like reminding my fellow sisters to be strong, reminding my fellow sisters of their worth, reminding them of their strength and what they're capable of. So, and it gets tiring sometimes. It does get tiring sometimes, having to fight the same thing, having to speak about the same thing, having to like prove yourself and prove your value to other people constantly. And so it's just like always reminding them and always just being like that beacon of hope, or being that strength whenever they feel tired, that no, there are still some of us out here fighting for that.
mhm. Okay, I mean, so amazing, no? That you have started, the initiative of, promoting women empowerment. No? So, are you saying that, based on what you've said, are you saying that even though we are already living in this, modern life, women are not treated equally, especially in your country.
Especially in our basic human rights are disregarded every day. Like, it's not safe to just walk like any other person, it's not safe to just be yourself, because it's still the same thing of what you wear in situations of rape. Then it's always the question, it's the same question is still, but what were you wearing? Instead of questioning, the victim is always questioned. And we read
Oh,
about this in articles every single day about women's safety, getting robbed, getting kidnapped, getting all that, getting killed, like our lives being taken, our basic human right being taken from us every single day, to the point where I have my own pepper spray because I do not feel safe
okay.
anymore just walking, even in an environment that you're familiar with, like where you grew up with, because you can't trust people anymore. You can't be too comfortable anymore. You have to be on your toes all the time, look over your shoulder, and be careful.
Okay, well, I'm so, I'm in awe, no, upon knowing that situation in Namibia. And do you think, what do you think could really be done in order for the system to change, the environment to change? Because remember, you're only one. You're the voice of, you're the face of humanity in Namibia. But, what are some of the things that you're doing in order for you to really achieve your goal of achieving equality, fair treatment, especially to women, and to eliminate the crimes in Namibia?
Primarily, what I can do now is constantly raising awareness, using social media platforms to do that. Just as I said, like, continue fighting for it, because the more you do, eventually someone will hear your cry and someone will take action, like bigger authorities or the government. So just continue to cry, like, until they hear your cry.
Mhm. Okay, wow. It's a big task on your shoulder, right? But it's very heartening to know that, a woman your age is now, taking the initiative to really make a change, no, not only in your country but all over the world. Okay, so uh, uh, I will ask you this question. This actually is a question from the organization, from the Space of Humanity. And they asked me to ask this to all the queens. Okay.
Maybe.
So, why should you be the Miss Space of Humanity? Or why should the Miss Space of Humanity organization crown you as their global ambassador?
Wow, this is actually a very big question. I thought that this would be the question for our crowning night, but thinking of thinking about it, Face of Humanity is one of the first pigeons that focuses on character, on what's from inside, and not on physical appearances or what's from the outside. So I believe that as a Face of Humanity, you should have a very, very strong character, very, very strong beliefs, and you should be very passionate, because it will always be about your potential and what you can give to the to the world as a whole. So you should be very passionate as a humanity queen, and
Okay.
it's responsibilities as well, because I know that it's going to be difficult, because it's not focusing on your face anymore. It's not focusing on taking pretty pictures anymore. It's focusing on what you can give back as an
Mm.
individual, what changes you can make. So I would say why I should be, because of character, having a very strong character at a very young age, and having like first-hand experiences of what we are struggling with the problems in the world, like being first-hand experiencing this, like minor problems, and just being able to, like, from first-hand experience, be able to seek for ways to do better and live better.
Wonderful. You mentioned something about, gender equality that you really want to push. And then how about what is your take on same-sex marriage?
On same-sex marriage, so for I've always thought like younger me before like more mature me now, always thought that as a Christian, what am I really allowed to have an opinion on this? And I thought that as a Christian you should be able to love everyone and be non-judgmental. And I feel like this should have been we're trying to normalize things that should be normal, that should have been normal from the start. It shouldn't have to be you shouldn't be fighting for things that are not in your control, because who you love at the end of the day or who you are, it's not something that's in your control. It's someone you were born as. So I 100% stand behind people being themselves, being comfortable in who they are, being happy as who they are, and creating safe environments for everyone.
Okay. In the media, uh, how 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 much do you accept in the society the LGBTQ community?
It is not very accepting to that. It is actually what we're currently fighting for to the parliament and all that. The acceptance of that. That is currently what the community is busy with. The LGBTQ community is busy with, and so hopefully in the near future, they will be more open-minded and accepting of all people.
Okay, you are very smart, huh? Damn you. Okay, so so is that tantamount to say that will it be okay with you if there will be a transgender woman to join the Face of Humanity later on?
Um, the thing is always about pageants have become so modern. It has
Mm.
become so modern. Like they don't look at things like your weight and height anymore. At the end of your skin tone, your hair, or anything of that. I feel like the word itself says trans woman, and if a trans woman is as capable and as passionate as me, then I feel like she should have the same opportunity as me. Because at the end of the day, it's not her physical appearances that's going to carry the crown and its responsibilities, but it's her her heart and her potential. So
Okay, so let's talk about the pandemic. No? We've been experiencing this COVID-19 for the past 2 years, right? So at
yes.
the start of the pandemic, okay, I mean, when you experienced the pandemic, what were the things that you realized? What were the things that you've learned out of this pandemic? We're still, battling with this pandemic up to this moment, right? But what are some of the realizations that you've had with what's
But
happening right now in the world?
okay, so one thing that the pandemic definitely taught me is that the future is not predictable. Like you can plan your life, you can plan it all out, and then you will feel like I can feel like I am going to graduate in 3 years' time. I'm going to buy myself a car or that. But I never know like what can happen. So you should always like mentally prepare you for the best but also for the worst, because anything can happen. And if you're so optimistic and if you're so not ignoring that any negative can happen, then it will drain you mentally, like it will hit you so hard. And really like the pandemic took such a big toll on our mental health because it took so much from us, like family, as well as the things we love, our hobbies, our daily routine. Like it was cut off. It changed our lives so rapidly, and we did not expect it at all. We did not expect it at all. So you should always like learn to be very humble as well in life, because look at how much it took from us. It took jobs. It took people's lives. Like people had to start from beginnings to work again to the top. So it just teaches you to also prepare for the worst.
Okay, what is the COVID situation now in Namibia?
In Namibia, everyone is still wearing their masks. Um, I believe most people are vaccinated, but we still follow the rules. We do not have a curfew anymore, and we can um, we can go to places in full numbers again. But recently I saw that in other African countries, like in South Africa, the number of COVID cases are going up again, and I feel like people got so comfortable that they thought that
Mhm.
the virus is finally going away, that they went straight back to old routines. But
Yeah.
you're supposed to take it one step at a time. And in Namibia, we're still wearing our masks, we're still sanitizing, we're still
Mhm.
following those rules.
Okay, Demi, there's a new variant of virus that has been discovered, and they're saying it came from South Africa. And some countries nowadays, recently, they're trying to close their borders now to those people who will be coming from Africa. Uh, uh, have you heard about it? This is that
I have
Omicron
read
virus?
about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not very well educated on the on it, but I heard about it.
Okay, good. Okay, now let's talk about are you done? Are you finished with your psychology course, or you're still studying?
No, I just finished my first year.
Okay, so why psychology?
Psychology, because I care about the welfare of people. Like I would say, like working with people, like because just being in, like I mentioned, first-hand experience of being a little unprivileged before, and God has been so good to us that I'm in a better situation and position than others. Then just being able to also give back.
Mhm.
And
Okay, so Demi, you're still young. There's so much future ahead of you. At some point in your life, definitely you will settle down. You will get married. Okay, so being a beauty queen, no, although we are saying that Miss Face of Humanity is a global showcase, but people still consider it as a beauty pageant, right? So this global showcase of Miss Face, you are forever embedded in the history of Namibia, that in 2021 they have Damilola again Bu again Beukes Beukes. How do you pronounce again your surname? Bu
because
Beukes. Okay. So it will be forever in the history of Namibia that you are the 2021 Miss Face of Humanity. Are you willing to marry a man who is less successful than you are? Because I'm very sure after this pageant, more doors will be opening for you. Okay, and definitely you're already a celebrity on your own in Namibia, and people all over the world know about you. So are you willing to marry a man who is less successful, less popular, and earning less as compared to you?
um I believe that I would want to marry someone that's less popular than me. Just having like the sanity and not always having to, just like an escape from publicity sometimes, just having that an escape from publicity sometimes. But I would say we do not have control over like our past, our background, how we grew up, but we definitely have control in our future and what we want for ourselves. So having a man that's less successful than me, but equally hardworking, I would not be settling, because I'm not settling. Just because he's
Okay.
less successful than me doesn't mean like he's less than me.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay.
less successful, but equally hardworking and equally ambitious, then definitely.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some hypothetical questions, and Of course, let's see what's your take on this. If you were God for a day, how would you change the world?
If I were God for a day, I believe the world would be exactly as it is now because he already knows our plans written and planned out and our future and all that. So if I were him for a day, I believe that everything would be exactly how it is right now because everything is exactly how he wanted it to be right now.
Okay. What steps or measures do you think should be taken to eradicate poverty, not only in your country, but all over the world?
Excuse me?
What
Two?
what steps do you think should be done in order to eradicate poverty or to stop poverty, not only in your country, but all over the world?
Equality. People
Mhm.
always say that people who are poor are lazy, and it is not the case. The case is people. It's always about your prestige, like award and desired goods are more based on prestige, who you are, opportunities. It's networking. Say, for instance, that I am in a position where I know well my parents are in the parliament and all that. I would obviously easier I would obviously um be be able to get opportunities easier than someone that has a higher degree than I do because they are not networked to these people. They are not linked. They don't have the connections as well. So um I would say equal opportunities, despite who you are, despite who your background is, despite who your family is. Like if you work for that, then you deserve that. Because a person in a poor community could have a degree and all that, but someone else that has family, um, that has family in that job or in that area get the would get the opportunity first than the person with the bigger degree, with the higher degree. So equality, it's all about equality.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. Okay, you belong to the younger generation, no? Because you're only 20, so definitely in that bracket. Do you feel pressured to perform in life as compared to the previous generations wherein things were a lot easier and better and all like that. Do you have that feeling of being pressured because you need to perform, you need to deliver, you need to achieve something?
I believe that my generation is more goal driven. Like we are actually excited about working hard, about striving, about building this life for ourselves, about creating opportunities for the future generation that still has to come. And so no, actually it's very exciting.
Wow.
I
Okay,
enjoy it.
what is your view on online dating? Are you amenable with it? Are you okay with online dating or not?
I would not do online dating because I don't, but I believe in real connections, like actually being with the person. I believe in energy, the type of energy that person gives off. I believe in online dating for me is honestly, it's too modern. I grew up with very tradition. I come from a very traditional household where you have to ask my mother to take me out first. And online dating, it can be deceiving because the person can easily lie to you, can easily make up a lifestyle that they think you like, that they think that you are interested in. So you're not getting to know the person for who he or she is really, for their authenticity may be disregarded as well. So I would like to meet someone.
Okay, let's talk about social media. Now, you have your Instagram account, you have your followers. Okay, so uh, sometimes we cannot help, but there are some followers who are commenting negatively, who are bashing and all like that, right? So, have you encountered anyone among your followers who's commenting bad things about you, and how do you handle such basher?
I have never, thinking about it now, I have actually never been cyber bullied, other than being my own cyber bully, because being on social media, it created this whole thing of wanting to fit in, creating like unrealistic beauty standards where you would post a picture and then later delete it because you feel like it's not Instagram worthy anymore, because you feel like it doesn't reach the requirements of being on Instagram, being an Instagram baddie or an Instagram beauty. So I've been my own cyber bully, I would say,
Okay.
trying to reach people's beauty standards, trying to impress people, trying to fit in on the social media, trying to yes.
Wow, that's amazing, no? Because not everybody is spared from cyberbullying, especially beauty queens like you. That's amazing to know, and you should be thankful that your followers are not like that. Okay. Uh, Now, let's talk about uh, the physical characteristics. If you will be given the chance to change something about your physical characteristics, which or what would it be and why?
If I was granted the chance to, sorry.
If you will be given the chance or opportunity to change something in your physical characteristics, what do you want to change and why?
It has been a very long and a very, very rocky, it has been very challenging accepting myself
Mhm.
because of those, they were definitely things I would have changed as my past self. But I've come to love myself so much, and I feel like when I became spiritually stronger, that's when I started seeing God's image in myself, where I started loving myself and falling in love with me and falling in love with every single piece of me. Because I feel like if I had to change anything about me, I would not be Damilola Beakes anymore. I would be someone completely different. So I would not change anything about me.
Okay, okay. So, for you, no, with the current situation, what do you think is the biggest problem of Namibia that needs to
Of
be
Namibia.
attended to, that needs to be resolved?
Definitely climate change. Climate change is being overlooked and ignored. The um, the issue of it is not being taken seriously, and we're actually like it's just contributing to it every day. Public transport, factory fuels, car exhaust, people smoking, and it's being overlooked. It's not being talked about as much as it should. It's not being taken serious as much as it should. And maybe that is something that I would also voice about, just to bring it out there, just to raise awareness
Okay. What do you think is the greatest contribution of Namibia to the world?
of Namibia to the world.
Yeah, of your country. What do you think? For example, other countries, I mean, they are known for something, right? Like France, for example, or Italy. But for Namibia, what do you think is the distinct product or characteristic or anything that you could offer to the world?
I would say our cultural and natural beauty.
Mm.
Namibia is very diverse. It's home to 11 ethnic groups. It's very diverse and it is very accepting of diversity because we're very diverse, but we're one in unity. And then just our beautiful, natural, enchanted beauty. Landscape. I would say Namibia is the perfect place if you want to take a mental detox, like just from people, a detox from people to breathe a little bit.
Okay. So there are some women, especially younger women like you, who are a bit insecure about their looks. No? Would you recommend a plastic surgery or beauty enhancements for these young women to be more confident about themselves?
I would advise them to do daily affirmations, because what you speak, people do not know the strength of your tongue and your thoughts, because what you speak out and what you think daily, it's what you're eventually feeding, and what you feed on a daily basis will eventually grow. So if you have negative thoughts about yourself always, then you would start seeing yourself like that. You would start believing that that is who you are and that is what you look like. So having positive affirmations on a daily basis, reminding yourself that you're beautiful, telling that to yourself in the mirror, even sometimes if you don't like believe it, just say it to you constantly. And that positivity will grow and you will start seeing yourself like that. No one needs a plastic surgeon. You
Okay,
just
I'm
need to believe in
impressed.
yourself.
Okay, I'm impressed. No, damn. Okay. Can you claim now that you are a role model for young girls in Namibia and in the world?
I have heard that from multiple people. Every time a person greets me, they are always like, I am so proud of you. You are such a beautiful young lady. You are doing very good. And it's also the things that keeps me going, knowing that people actually see this and that you're actually like doing something for the community, being a role model as well. So I have heard this from people, and I think that that will affirm that, what I think I'm doing good, I'm actually doing good.
Okay, if you will be stranded in an island for a week, who you would want to be with and why?
My mother, excuse me, wait,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
Um,
okay.
I would, I would want to be with my mother. Um, I believe that that is the one person that I always go back to at the end of the day. After getting advice from people, that is the one person whose opinion matters the most in my life. And the one person that has the biggest contribution to where I am today. Without her, I don't think any of this would have been possible. So
Okay.
she is my safe haven, and I feel like I would be more at ease being stranded on a strange island with the one person that has just always been there.
Mhm. Do you think beauty queens like you should involve yourself in uh, politics, no? In the political situation or in the political arena of your country? Do you think you should, involve yourself into such thing?
I believe that pigeons actually create a platform for people that want to take on key roles in society. So it's like training ground to build courage for young people. So I believe that, and they also have like pageantries are very transparent and very authentic. So they always have the people's best interest at heart and be more um, would be more fighting for what the people want. So I believe that it would be a good idea because they say beauty pageants, but it's beyond beauty. It's beyond powerful.
Yes.
It's intelligence and it's passion and yes.
Okay. So about Face of Humanity, no, it has been postponed, no, for a couple of times, no, I think twice or twice. Now, how long could you wait? What if before April? the organization will decide to postpone it again because we cannot, we cannot control the situation. We can never tell that before April 2, there will be another variant that would come out that would, trigger countries to close their borders. So, how long could you wait for this pageant?
Um, I don't mind waiting. The journey is always the real reward. At the end of the day, the journey is the real reward. Whatever you want to do with your Miss Face of Humanity title, you can still do it just being yourself. Like one does not need a crown or a sash to do what they want to do what they love, to advocate for what they stand for. So it just gives us more time to do what we do, to do what we want until when the time is right, the time will be right.
Okay. There will still be some parts of the pageant wherein, or the global showcase that you will ramp on the stage, right? You will still do catwalk or pasarela. How is your preparation? Do you have a specific team to take care of you, or you're doing it on your own?
It's me and the director of Face of Namibia because the organization still stands behind me as sorry, as Miss Face of Namibia. So I have them preparing me for Miss Face of
Mhm.
Humanity.
Okay, what do you think is the hardest part of your preparation?
For my preparation, um, I think you should be a very good public speaker because that would be required from you to be a very public speaker, to be a very fast thinker, to be on your toes. You should be able to answer, to be well educated about certain issues in the world, and you should be able to answer them well. You should be very informative and well informed about certain things. So, despite that, I feel like I'm more excited than nervous for the actual showcase.
Okay. Uh, you have already communicated with your fellow sisters, no? Miss Face of Humanity sisters, right? Because I believe you have a group. So who
Yes,
among your sisters you are always communicating with?
I think Louise is always active. She's always active on the group, but I don't know anyone that well. We introduced ourselves, but if you can't really put a face to a name, then it's hard to remember people's
Yeah.
names. But we have such a long time until the show. I believe that even like throughout the week,
Yeah.
that we will
Mhm.
get to know each other better, and then we will be more comfortable once we meet one another.
Will the Face of Humanity have like national costume competition like that, or evening gown also?
The diplomatic costume.
Diplomatic costume. Okay, so it's different, right? What kind of costume, diplomatic costume you are preparing?
So over the years, fellow Namibian queens have always worn the famous where the ocean meets the desert, the authenticity of where the ocean meets the desert. And I feel like it is like I have overthink this and maybe thought that I would want to do something different, but it doesn't change. Like no matter how many times people showcase that it still stays as beautiful as it is. So I would definitely do where the ocean meets the desert.
Okay. Uh, uh, I know you're still very young. You're only 20, but I would like to ask you, what is your biggest regret or disappointment in life so far?
I would my biggest disappointment. Um, I would say actually I'm so glad for everything that happened, for
Yeah.
everything that went south, for everything that didn't work in my interest at some points in my life, because it just pretty much worked out exactly the way it should have. So no regrets. I'm actually glad for everything that happened the way it did with
That's cool.
how my life played out thus far.
Okay, okay. Now, if you could have any superhuman power, what would it be and why?
Um, a superhuman. Okay, I would say the ability to make multiple to make multiples of one thing. So say I
Okay.
have one blanket and I will be able to make multiple with my superpower, then I will be able to, like, without having to have money or spend money, then I would be able to actually give people that do not have.
Wow. I hope you will have that power.
I hope so too.
Yeah, let's talk about world peace. Many beauty queens have always been, promoting world peace and all like that. But then, uh, if we're going to take a closer look at it, it's just a mere, lip service, right? So, for you, what do you think could be done to preserve or to promote world peace?
To preserve or promote world peace. Um, for instance, I would say, okay, Louise just asked the question.
Yeah.
I will answer her in short. I would answer, Louise, I would get back to your question now.
Yeah.
So I would say acceptance, because most chaos is created from people not accepting other people, and it's little things like the cyberbullying, making bad comments about people on here, that creates to the bigger issue later, people being discriminated because of who they are, the way they look, and their sexuality. So it's like small things that later contribute to the bigger problem. And it starts like something that seems very harmless, like cyberbullying or making bad comments about someone in a workplace or at school or from a young age, where when a kid um, humiliates or bully someone else, then people laugh because they find it cute or funny. And then later it becomes a bigger problem because then that child turns into a bully, which later turns into a criminal, say that.
Okay, let's entertain the question of our Miss Face of Humanity candidate, the host candidate. Why did you decide to join Miss Face of Humanity? For those who are watching, you can also pin your questions for our Miss Face of Humanity, the media, to answer. Okay, why did you decide to join Miss Face of Humanity?
So Miss Face of Humanity, because it's a different pigeon, because it's a different showcase. Also, as a possibly future psychologist, this is actually, I could use this platform for what I advocate for mental health all over the world, for equality all over the world. So just to, because the thing is, I could have done this as just Damilola as well. But
Hmm.
people do not value your voice as much if you're not an important person. So people respect me more now as a pageant queen than they would have as just an ordinary human being.
Yeah, you were right. No? I mean, that's the people's mentality. If you already have that certain title in you, the tendency is for them to really, follow you, and all, right? That
They,
because there's
they
some sort
take
of
what you say
credibility.
more seriously and what you do more seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think this world will be a better place without guns?
Um, guns. Okay. It's not all. Guns is also used as a sport and sometimes as safety as well. So I wouldn't say guns is not the problem. It's the person, it's what it's used for. That's the problem.
Okay, so what is a striking quality that sets women apart from men? What do you think is the
Um,
quality of a woman that is really different and amazing that that makes women set apart from men?
I would say that women are more vulnerable than men in showing emotion and in caring for people. Because men were just taught, like from a very young age, to be strong, not to really show emotion, to be men, basically. So sometimes people use it as a term, like just be a man, don't be a woman. So I would say just like caring for people in generally, women are more open about that.
Okay, if you could change something in the history of Namibia, no, what would it be and why?
In the history of Namibia, I would say it's inequality. Wait, I would say it's maybe technology and availability of resources because Namibia has so many talented people. But I feel like they've been limited because Namibia does has limited resources and opportunities. So you're better off making a living in Namibia by having a degree. Even though you're such a good artist or you're such a good musician or you're much better, you're stronger in other skills and in talents and other parts, but there's no opportunities for you, so you end up having to study something that you're not passionate about just so that you can make it out in life.
Okay, another question from the Miss Space of Humanity organization.
Okay.
Currently, what are you doing to promote your Miss Face of Humanity platform?
So mainly I am just basically showing people that as a queen, as the space of Namibia, that being very diverse, creating that trust, creating trust in my community with my people, for the Pride Week, attending, being part of it, standing up with them, and so forth. Using my social media platform because we do not actually, there's not much we can do, especially in the pandemic as well. So using the resources I have and that are available to me at the moment. But definitely, I will definitely expand more in the future. It is the time of festive now, it's family time, and people are on holidays and so forth. But when people are back to their daily routines and their works next year and all that, that is when I will dive into my advocacy.
Okay, where can your followers vote you?
Where can they vote me?
Yeah.
Face of Namibia, the Face of Namibia page posted the link on their social media.
Okay. Where can your fans find the tickets to those who want to travel to Toronto, Canada to support you?
Sorry, please
Uh,
repeat.
where can your fans find the tickets to those who want to travel to Toronto, Canada to support you later on?
With all honesty, I did not even know people had tickets available for
Mhm.
um, to travel to Toronto. So um, if you perhaps know, please do tell them, and please do tell the people that's watching now.
Okay. So, what do you think is your biggest asset as a face of humanity?
I would say my age. I would
Mm.
say being so young, and it really motivates people because in this generation, as a young person, I've experienced that my generation is very excuse orientated. We make excuses of we're still young, there's still time left, but not very solution focused. So just motivating people.
Okay, you are very articulate. You are very fluent in the use of the English language, right? But Do you think, mastery and fluency of the English language is very essential and very important for you to become Miss Face of Humanity?
It would make it very easy to communicate with people worldwide because imagine having to learn everyone's language. It is human impossible. So English being an international language, it would just make it very easily to communicate with people worldwide.
Okay. So are you saying that, a face of humanity, a Miss Face of Humanity should be able to speak English?
Very well, yes. Should be
Okay.
able to speak English very well and understand it very well as well.
Mhm. Okay. Um, Now, with how do you see yourself? You are 20, no? Let's say 10 years from now. Where do you see yourself?
Definitely. I would see myself busy creating more job opportunities for future psychologists, but it's actually very difficult for psychologists in Namibia to find jobs. So, because for the most part, people always feel like because there's not much opportunity in your country, you go to another country instead of thinking of creating opportunities instead.
Okay. What makes you unique, Damilola?
What makes me unique? Um, I would say I am very transparent. Like, I'm very open about myself, about my life. People can relate to me. People can reflect themselves in me. And authenticity, just being genuine, not saying things because you feel like it's what people want to hear, it's what you should say as a beauty queen, but being authentic, like being genuine and being like, people are not always going to like your opinion, but your intention should always be to the best interest of all people.
Okay. There are some countries wherein there are groups wherein they're against beauty pageants, right? They even hold rallies and all like that. What is the situation in Namibia? Are they open to beauty pageants like Miss Universe, Miss Face of Humanity, Miss Face of Namibia, or there are still certain groups which are against it?
No, not at all. Namibia has thrived this year in pigeons. So good. Namibia, this was actually a very good for Namibia, as Miss Supranational is from Namibia. Our queens have taken part in all the pageants this year, internationally, locally, and they have done so good. Here are so many powerful men and women in Namibia, and it's just a beautiful sight seeing how people take part in cultural things like this, how they are just working so hard and yes.
Okay, what are you going to tell someone who doesn't believe in the cause of beauty pageants like this? So, for example, there's someone in front of you who doesn't really believe that beauty pageant is more than a beauty pageant. How would you convince that person to support and to believe the cause of beauty pageants?
So people have their different perspective on things. I would I would firstly listen to the reason why the person does not believe in beauty pageants and try to see where the person comes from. Because obviously you can't just like your beliefs and your thoughts, you can't just project them on other people because we're all different. I will not I would probably not change the way the person feels about or their opinion about a pigeon, but I would just like educate them more on what it really is about, what it really stands for, what the platform is about, and maybe they will have a different perspective of what it is.
Wow. Okay. Now, I'm giving you 1 minute, okay, to tell the world uh, What will you do to defend world peace and spread love amongst people? What will you do to defend world peace and spread love amongst all people? Make a speech for a minute.
For a minute, okay. So, one cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to find peace and love within yourself first. So you have to check if you are mentally and physically and emotionally well before you try to go out and see if other people are okay. So I would personally first find peace and love within myself before I go out into the world. As a loving person, the saying the saying that hurt people, so healed people heal people. If I'm a loving person, it would be easily for me to spread love. If I'm at peace with myself, it would be easily to spread peace. And also the saying that be the change that you want to see in the world. So it starts with you. People
Okay.
with you can't just do it through speeches, through telling people. It has to come from your actions. People would see that this is a very loving person and this person is at peace, and then they would admire that characteristics of you, and then eventually you would spread it out like that.
Okay. And you are in front of a group of thousands of younger people, okay, younger than you are. What would be your message to them?
My message to them, um, it would definitely, the one thing that I learned from this year is get out of your comfort zone. Only real growth and real change comes from the moment you get out of your comfort zone. Comfort zones limit us. And I know that it gets anxious, you get anxious sometimes, it's nerve-wracking sometimes, but it is so worth it because through perseverance builds true character, and you can only grow from getting outside your comfort zone.
Wow. Okay, you're so amazing. Okay. If you were given 30 seconds to deliver a message to a global terrorist, what would you say
What would I say?
to a terrorist?
Okay, I would things that people do, it's always like their own insecurities, their own flaws that they projecting on other people. So I would have a conversation of this person, trying to get to know them, what it is, why it is they're doing what they're doing, and eventually just like softening the person, having them speak about themselves, having because at the end of the day, people are so quick to judge. People are so quick to jump to conclusions, and they never know that what's the reason, or they never actually care about what is the reason. And there's always a reason to something happening. So you try to get to the root of that. And I feel like killing people with kindness, it's just the best way to do it. It's the best
Okay.
way to do it because it will
Uh,
it will change the atmosphere for them as well, and it might change their heart as well.
Okay, so now you're very good, huh?
Right.
You're so articulate, you're so fluent, all your ideas are well received, very good. I wish you all the luck in the space of
Thank
humanity.
you.
Now,
Thank you.
a lot of people are actually asking, how could you please tell your queens, the queens that you're going to interview, to how they will introduce themselves during the pageant? So, could you please show how you would introduce yourself? Like, I'm Damilola Beakes, the Face of Humanity,
Oh,
NAMIBIA, something like that.
hi. I am Damilola Beakes, 20 years old, and I am Miss Face of Humanity, Namibia.
Wow.
That
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, any last message to your family, to the fellow Namibians, to the world, to everybody? This will be uploaded later on in my YouTube channel, and at the same time, a lot of people will be watching later on because it's like
okay.
12 midnight here in Asia, in my place. So,
Okay.
everyone is sleeping. So, what would be your message to all of them?
Personally, I would just like to thank everyone, every single person for the support from the beginning throughout the journey until now, because sometimes like negative thoughts or just feeling a little down is inevitable, and then just that reminder of what you're doing from other people is just such motivating, and it keeps you going. So I personally want to thank each and every person that has been, for all the love and all the support, and for always like believing in me as well, because sometimes pigeons can be so it's not always all glitz and glamour, like it gets difficult, the responsibility as well. So just having that support from people, from your community, from friends and family, is just very like, it's what keeps you going. So I would just personally want to thank each and everyone.
Wow, congratulations. Demi, thank you so much for giving into this interview. I've learned a lot from you. I've known,
Thank you.
the personality, because the way you queens answer will reflect what kind of personality you have, what kind of values you possess. And that's
Yes,
the reason why I keep on asking random questions. And you are so lovable. And I think the media has chosen the right queen for the
thank
mistakes of
you.
humanity.
Thank
Okay,
you.
could you please invite them to follow your social media account?
Okay.
Mm. Please follow because you know your social media account is us at underscore dem dem dot triple I underscore at Demi. At Demi.
Yes.
Okay, so please
Same.
follow her because you will really learn a lot from this phase of humanity in Namibia. Very young, very fresh, full of hope, and full of ambitions in life, and very dedicated and committed, to do something wonderful to the world. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank
I'll
you so much
definitely
for
be
having
following.
me.
Yeah, I'll definitely be following all your activities, and I hope to see you soon. No? Good luck in the space of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a virtual round of applause and the virtual hand for Miss Space of Humanity Namibia 2021, Damilola Beakes.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.